Hola, hola, hola guys, it's me and I'm coming to you with a new review. So today we're going to be talking about foundation, and there is this new foundation that came out recently from Maybelline. This is the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Foundation. This has broad spectrum SPF 50, antioxidant and enriched pollution protection, and this is supposedly a full coverage liquid foundation. So here it is right here. You can get it on Ulta.com, and you can actually get it also on Amazon.com. I recommend getting it on Amazon only because on Amazon it's actually about $2 or $3 cheaper if I'm not mistaken. So I got mine on Ulta, but if you can find your shade on Amazon, then I recommend getting it on Amazon just because it's a little bit cheaper in price. So I wanted to go ahead and just give you my own personal opinion. I feel like I have to say that every time I review a product, because I notice these days on YouTube that when you give a product review and it doesn't come out in other people's favor, they tend to like witch hunt you, you know, so I don't want to get part of that. So I always like to say that even though this is a product review, it is always on myself, on my face, on my body, on my bod, and you know, so everything I say is always 100% honest. I bought it with my money, my review, but again, it's my personal opinion. You may find that the product may work on you better or not, so obviously you don't take my word for it. If you're interested in the product, then you're gonna go get the product yourself. So I'm going to explain, and if you're interested in obtaining this product and seeing overall what I think about it, keep watching. Okay, so I just want to read the summary because it was pretty much the easiest summary that I can get, which was on the Amazon site. It is first full coverage makeup, specially formulated to protect the skin from environmental aggressors. So this has SPF 50, as I said, enriched with antioxidants to protect against pollution, leaves a natural looking finish and protects skin all day. Available in 16 shades and is dermatologist tested. So again, it protects your skin from UVA and UVB rays. Again, full coverage, blah blah blah, protects your skin, and it comes in 16 shades. So the shade that I bought is the Ivory, I believe, classic Ivory. Oh no, sorry, natural Ivory. So if you are, I guess, fair to light and you have some neutral or pinky skin tones, you could probably get away with this one. This is again number 112 in natural Ivory. But then again, I already knew pretty much my shade in Maybelline because obviously I have tried them in the past. I mean, who hasn't? So the whole trouble of picking a shade or whatever really was not difficult for me. So now getting into the review. Now, first of all, this is 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters ml. So good enough for the price. It's going to be, depending where you buy, it's going to be between $10.99 and $12.99 depending where you purchase it. Again, so they're saying that this is going to leave a natural finish, that this is a full coverage foundation. I'm gonna say this is definitely a natural finish. I'm definitely gonna agree with that. It's not really a matte finish, it's more of a natural finish. So I don't really have much of a problem with that. I think when you leave it and you wear it alone, it gives a nice natural finish, almost illuminating finish, which I don't mind. The coverage, to me, it's more or less full coverage. I'm gonna say, for me personally, I would say it's more of a medium coverage, but is buildable. I just felt like, I mean, it covered obviously, but I just felt that it was just a little itty bitty bit lighter or thinner in consistency than other foundations that I have used. But again, this is not a matte finish. Example, if you do get a matte foundation, then most of them, I'm not going to say all, but most of them, they are a little tiny bit thicker in consistency. For example, the Too Faced Peach Perfect Matte Foundation, which I use, is a little tiny bit thicker in consistency, but not that much because it provides a matte finish. This one is a little bit thinner, but again, this is supposed to be a lightweight full coverage foundation, but it is buildable. However, I'm going to say this as far as application, I think that you can build it up, but I think you have to be very careful because it tends to get streaky. I don't know if it's because I'm using with a wet beauty blender or with a brush or what have you, but for me, and my best, the favorite way of mine to apply foundation is with a wet beauty blender. I'm not really crazy about putting it on with brushes, and it does do cover very nicely. The only thing is that you just have to be a little bit careful because it will appear a little bit blotchy or streaky in some places. Just being careful with the application, but overall it's not really a deal breaker in my opinion. I really had no issues with that at all. As far as scent, I don't remember having smelled any type of scent or any chemical scent of the matter. I did not feel any tingling or any weird sensations or breakouts. Now I say this because obviously this has sunscreen in it. I know some people may be iffy about the chemicals of sunscreen and things like that. For me personally, I have really sensitive skin when it comes to sunscreen, and a lot of products that have sunscreen really do affect my skin. I don't know what it is. My skin is just not good with products that contain SPF in them. For some reason, I will break out or I will get irritated or get a rash. My skin becomes painful when I come in contact with certain chemicals that involve sunscreen. However, with this foundation, I did not experience any of that problem, so that is definitely a plus if you have super sensitive skin and you just were concerned about that. For me personally, I can tell you that I did not have any effects. So now I'm going to tackle the subject of the staying power. Unfortunately for me, I don't think it was a par to my needs specifically with lasting power. I feel that in the lasting power department, I feel like it kind of sort of failed, I'm sorry to say, and I was kind of disappointed about that. If you are going to be lots of hours all day long, 9-to-5 job or whatever in this foundation, and you have oily skin or combination skin, I'm gonna tell you, you most likely are going to have to blot or powder during the day, probably more than once, because I had to. There was a day where I actually forgot my blotting sheet, so I could not blot at all. And then the next day I had my blotting sheets. Unfortunately, I noticed towards the end of the day, the foundation was already breaking up on my nose, so the foundation was already moving around. So I experienced some of the foundation was missing around here, and some of it, on the ball of my nose was missing. I also noticed a little bit here and a little bit cakiness around the laugh lines. So little things like that, and I know that it was obviously the oil. I have combination oily skin, and I'm telling you, unless I blot or powder, that foundation in no way was going to stay on at all. So that is definitely a disclaimer to those who have oily skin or combination skin. It may travel on your face, it may not, but for me personally, it did travel on certain places on my face, not everywhere, but again in the oily parts, which would be the sides of my nose, the top of my nose. I just noticed little tiny spots where the foundation had begun to travel. So I really wasn't crazy about that, and I know for a fact that I'm gonna have to definitely blot and or powder during the day. Again, I'm kind of comparing it to the Too Faced Peach Matte foundation that I'm using, because I really applied much less with that foundation from Too Faced. So I don't want to make so much more of a comparison because I know this is drugstore brand and Too Faced isn't really a drugstore brand, but I just want to give you the comparison that you would have to blot or powder a little bit more. And again, this isn't really so much a matte formula per se, again, because it's leaving you with a natural finish and not a matte finish. Another thing, as far as it being able to transfer, is this foundation transfer proof? For me, it was. I'm just gonna be honest and say that. I don't think that there's 100% transfer proof foundation. I have not found one. I have not found one, I'm telling you. But there are some foundations where there is more transfer than others. And I feel like this foundation as well, I had a little bit more transfer issues. I felt that, you know, if I kind of like rubbed over here, or if, you know, I rubbed off somewhere or whatever, there was a lot of transfer. Do I experience that with my present foundation? Yeah, but not as much as I discovered with this one. Again, this is really a light formula, and it's more of a thinner formula. I don't know if maybe because of the thinness of the formula, and you know, that's why there is a transfer problem. But I just wanted to also bring it out there, that there is a transfer problem on this as well. So you have to be careful when you rub off on somebody or something. Okay guys, so that is my review for this foundation. I think that it was short and sweet pretty much. Overall, I guess it's a decent foundation for the price that you're paying. I do like the way it looks. I like the finish. It's a nice natural finish. The coverage is decent. Again, I'm not going to say it's full coverage because I didn't find it full coverage for me. I found it more medium coverage, but you can definitely build it up, being careful that you don't produce any cakiness or streakiness. As far as the performance of the foundation, the longevity of the foundation, yeah, it's not really there very much. I really found that, you know, in the late afternoon it was already breaking up on my skin because my skin is greasy. So if you are again, combination or oily skin, you are going to need to powder very well if you're going to use this foundation. And during the day, you're probably going to have to touch up or use your blotting sheets like I do. Again, the staying power, there is transfer problems. Again, this is my personal opinion. But you know, if you're not going to be rubbing off on everything and everywhere it is, and you're just going to be somewhere for a couple hours or whatever, and you know, it's not a deal breaker for you, then I'm going to say go for it. But if you're going to be really handsy and really personal with people and things like that, I don't know, you may want to think twice depending if you're going to be somewhere where you are required to be out all day. I'm also would say I would think twice about this foundation. So I just wanted to throw that out there, you guys. Unfortunately, it's an okay product, but it's not my most favorite product, sadly to say. And I do like Maybelline, I do like their products, but this foundation, for some reason, I just wasn't too crazy about it. So I'm definitely gonna have to powder very well when I use that product, and just be careful with the product and all. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you're not too disappointed. If you're still interested in the product, again, you can get it online at Ulta.com, Amazon.com. I'm not sure if it is in any pharmacies, but you could definitely find it online on those two websites. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.